Touching ultrasound sent to old contact reveals incredible Billionaire's surprising jet response. Emily stared at the ultrasound image glowing softly from her phone screen, the tiny heartbeat pulsing with promise, but her chest felt heavy, as if a weight crushed her. The pending arrival of another child hung, bittersweet, in her mind, woven with the specters of unpaid medical debts and whispers from the town she couldn't escape. A struggling nurse in a small Texas town, her heart ached under the judgments of acquaintances who believed she had settled too easily for a life that left little room for dreams. They saw her as someone who simply chose just being a nurse, as if that title defined her worth. Trembling fingers hovered over the screen, a flicker of hope mixed with self-doubt. Jake, her childhood friend turned billionaire, had once shared laughter over coffee and dreams in college. Now, he ruled an empire with a mere swipe of his hand, an image of success so dazzling yet so far removed from Emily's gritty reality. She hesitated. Would sending him this picture seem like a desperate cry for help? Or would it spark a flame of connection they both seemed to need? She tapped the screen, unleashing a flood of memories and maybe, just maybe, the lifeline she craved. How long had it been since she felt someone might genuinely understand her? As the image found its way to Jake, uncertainty danced around her. The contrasts between their lives felt sharper, every passing moment intensifying the awkwardness of their reunion. As a mother of two, battling the exhaustion of raising them alone, juggling bills, and carrying the weight of childhood trauma left by her father's death, Emily fought to maintain composure. The heartache of watching her mother's health decline loomed ominously. It became a heavy shroud, blurring the line between hope and despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When Jake responded, his warmth radiated through the coldness that enveloped her existence. He shared fleeting memories, revealing to her a vulnerability he typically masked beneath layers of business acumen. The conversation that followed spiraled into an invitation she never anticipated. A trip on his private jet, a decadent escape from the struggles trailing her like a shadow. Emily felt a wave of exhilaration but also a rush of guilt. This felt wrong. The whispers of her peers clawed at her consciousness, cutting deeper with each thought. Would they judge her for accepting help from Jake? Was she not fighting for her dignity, clinging tightly to her ideals of meritocracy? But beneath the pull of pride washed a desperate desire to shield her children from the harshness of her reality, the loneliness of her crushing burdens, and the expectation that suffocated her. The tension between gratitude and self-respect pressed heavily within her. As she contemplated the shocking reality of walking hand in hand with a billionaire, every instinct screamed for her to resist, yet the temptation felt real, an escape and a confrontation. Could she redefine her narrative? Embrace his generosity without succumbing to the judgments that loomed like storm clouds? Caught somewhere between the past and an uncertain future, Emily felt the weight of expectations shift beneath her feet. The edges of her world began to blur, her mind racing with possibilities, insecurities gnawing at her resolve. Just as clarity appeared on the horizon, an unexpected revelation about her family's hidden legacy threatened to topple everything she had ever known, leaving her questioning her choices and the very essence of her identity itself. The stakes were rising, and as she faced the precariousness of her decision, the distance between struggling nurse and powered billionaire felt not just pronounced but daunting. She stood on the precipice of transformation. The choice laid before her: should she dive in or retreat to the familiar shadows of her life? The moment she agreed to the trip, Emily felt both excitement and dread intertwining within her. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across her living room, each inch of space heavy with memories both cherished and painful. Her children's laughter floated through the air, a reminder of what was truly at stake. She needed this getaway, not just for herself but as an opportunity to create lasting memories with them, away from the whispers and judgment of their small town. Still, self-doubt lingered, like a cloud overshadowing her burgeoning hope. What if Jake's world overwhelmed them? What if they couldn't allow themselves to be happy for even a weekend? As she packed, she grappled with the weight of her insecurities. Disbelief mixed with a flicker of ambition. Was she capable of navigating the confident, fast-paced atmosphere of someone like Jake all over again? As her eyes flitted across the room, pausing on the family photos hanging on the wall, she recalled her aspirations. Once upon a time, she had craved a career that extended beyond the confines of her job. She had envisioned a life where she could make a mark, a nurse who not only healed but also led. Over the years, that dream had dimmed, replaced by the mundane demands of day-to-day life. Yet here lay an unexpected opportunity to rekindle that fire, or at least confront the flickering embers of her aspirations. On a whim, she pulled out a journal, something she hadn't written in for months, maybe years. As she opened it, the pages were blank, a mirror to her stagnation. Writing began as a cathartic ritual. She had outlined her ambitions, scribbled her fears, and articulated her dreams. Flipping through the pages, she realized her storytelling ambition wasn't extinguished, merely dormant. Feeling her pulse quicken, Emily jotted down possible plans for her first meeting with Jake. What do I want? She asked herself, skipping over the anxiety that would typically fill her mind. To show him who I've become. She debated dressing simply, but ultimately decided on something bold, colorful yet professional. It symbolized the merging of her past and present, the nurse that had always battled for her identity, and the woman she could become. The night before the trip, she lay sleepless, thoughts racing through her mind, doubts, memories, hopes. Images of Jake's effortless charm flashed through her mind, mingling with her own insecurities. They were different people with vastly different lives now, but the bond of their shared history remained. Could they connect again amidst the chaos of their worlds? Would he see her as someone worth mentoring, or would she be another fleeting visit in his extravagant life? The next morning brought a heady mix of anticipation and anxiety. As Emily stood in front of the mirror, ready to leave for the airport, she felt the weight of her impending decision shift far beneath the surface. Was this merely an escape from her reality, or a pivotal moment in rewriting her story? With each step toward the aircraft, an ember of determination ignited. She would confront her fears, not just for herself, but for her children, for the future she wanted them to see. As Jake greeted her at the private terminal with his signature grin, Emily felt a rush of familiarity. He appeared effortlessly confident, his aura drawing her toward the world she had yearned for. All at once, she realized she had not traveled just for an indulgent getaway. She longed to explore what was possible beyond her current life. But as they boarded the jet, an unexpected message buzzed insistently from her phone. It was about her family's hidden legacy, one that could change everything she thought she knew, and suddenly, the air felt heavier. She clutched the phone tighter, the implications of this revelation looming large, setting the stage for the next chapter in her tumultuous journey. Would she take the plunge and embrace the uncertainty that lay ahead? As the jet's engines roared to life, Emily's heart raced in sync with the machine's pulse. With every vibration, anxiety stirred within her, mingling with a sense of possibility. Jake settled into the plush seat across from her, his demeanor relaxed, yet Emily felt the tension in the air wrap around them like a heavy blanket. She stole a glance at the Instagram notifications flashing on her phone, each ping nudging her to confront the unexpected message that held hordes of unanswered questions. The family legacy, it reverberated in her mind like a broken record. Jake leaned in, his gaze penetrating, eyes sparkling with the curiosity she once found enchanting. "You okay?" he asked, his tone light, but the weight of his inquiry hung between them. "Yeah," just her voice faltered, caught between the lie she wanted to tell and the truth begging to be released. Thinking about the kids. It was partially true, she was tangled in thoughts of her children and what this journey might mean for them. "Good. A little getaway is just what you need." He smiled, but the subtle tension in his jaw suggested he was well aware of the storm brewing just beneath her calm facade. The jet lifted into the sky, bypassing familiar territories, and soon they were suspended above the clouds, floating between reality and a dream. Emily took a deep breath, forcing herself to focus. She'd come here for a reason to rekindle her ambitions and confront her identity. This was an entirely new narrative, and it begged her to step into the protagonist's role, leaving self-doubt behind. As she compartmentalized her thoughts, Emily couldn't shake off the phone clutched tightly in her palms. The message held haunting possibilities that included familial connections she scarcely understood. She thumbed through the words again, the information vivid yet disorienting. There was more to her family than she realized. "Everything all right?" Jake asked again, this time with a hint of irritation breaking through his calm exterior. "Yes." The word slipped out sharper than intended, striking a nerve. The question begged a truth only she could unearth. Jake would never understand the imprint that family legacy left on her heart. But maybe, she thought, he could help her uncover it. "Actually, could you look at something for me?" A half-hearted attempt to divert the spotlight, Emily held out her phone, displaying the message. "It's about my family." Jake's expression shifted, intrigue melding with surprise as he read the words. "Interesting. It seems there's more to you than meets the eye, Emily." His response, rife with genuine curiosity, lit a fire she didn't know she needed ignited. "My parents always said our history went deep," she said, emboldened by his interest. "But until now, I never truly considered what that could mean for me or for my kids." "Maybe this is your chance to discover it," Jake said, a hint of challenge in his voice. "Why not dig deeper while you're here? It could be the beginning of something significant." His words clashed with the weight of expectation she felt from her past. Determination bubbled within her. Could she really explore this legacy? Jake had taken a mentorship role before, perhaps he would be willing to support her in this. As they settled into the journey ahead, an unfamiliar blend of fear and excitement coursed through her veins. The plane soared above clouds thick with meaning, the turbulence of her personal revelations matching the aircraft's ascent. The doubt still loomed, but her determination steeled itself against the winds of uncertainty. Suddenly, a message pinged from her phone, pulling her focus. It was a response to her inquiry about her family's history, a lead that sparked interest and, perhaps, a major turning point. But before she could read it, Jake leaned forward. "What's that? Looks important." The tension between their worlds hummed, her breaking point in sight. Decisions loomed, choices ready to be made that could redefine everything: her dreams, her legacy, her identity. The moment of truth was approaching. Could she confront this hidden history, or would it leave her floundering as shadows of her past clashed with her future? And as she braced herself for what lay ahead, the airplane continued to rise, poised for the next chapter of her extraordinary journey. Emily's heart raced as she finally opened the message, her thumb trembling over the screen. Each word seemed to pulse like the jet's engines, cutting through her tension with the sharpness of revelation. The response was brief but loaded with implications. It hinted at connections, distant relatives, and ancestral roots that could wind through her family's history like vines, thickening the web of who she thought she was. "What does it say?" Jake's voice broke through her reverie, warm yet probing. "It's a family tree," she stammered, her thoughts tumbling over each other. "There's someone who wants to meet me." Jake's eyebrows shot up, curiosity mingling with concern. "Someone from your past? This could be huge for you, Em. Your chance to find answers." The urge to shove the device back into her pocket surged within her, but the gravity of the reality she had opened loomed even larger. What if she unearthed something dark? A hidden family scandal or a lost legacy beckoning her to unravel its mysteries? Yet, the thrill of discovery sparked a flame deep inside her. Taking a steadying breath, she replied, "I need to know what this means for my kids, too. If there's more waiting for us in our past, it needs to shape our future." But what if I find out things I wish I'd never learned? Then you face them head-on, Jake said, his voice steady. A sort of confidence radiated from him, lending her the strength to confront the uncertainty ahead. You've already taken the first step by even opening that message. This moment is a decision point, Emily. His words lingered in the space between them, charged with unspoken support. Emily could feel her determination morphing into a tangible force. You're right, she agreed, nodding resolutely. I can't keep burying the ghosts of my past. I've spent too long trying to ignore where I came from. As they soared above the landscape dotted with clouds that mirrored her swirling emotions, Emily prepared herself to navigate this uncharted territory. Each second drifted slowly as the timeline of her past began to interlace with her present, but just as clarity emerged, another ping from her phone shook the air. A deeper inquiry had arrived from the mysterious contact, one that begged for a response. Her heart quickened further, painting a picture of expectations and urgent questions. She scanned the words, her mind racing ahead to the meeting that could reshape everything. Are you gonna respond? Jake's tone held an invigorating mix of challenge and encouragement. Yes, she stated firmly, feeling her resolve harden. I'm going to meet them. I have to see this through. No more hesitations. The jet dipped slightly, mirroring the turbulence of her decision as it refused to settle entirely into the new landscape of her thoughts. With every tap of her fingers against the screen, she wrestled with a growing emotional tide. Good. But remember, this journey is yours. It's okay to feel vulnerable, Jake added. What if the truth leads you to a side of your family that's beyond anything you can imagine? Or perhaps it'll help you to totally redefine your dreams. His words danced around her mind, embedding themselves deeper as uncertainty intermingled with the budding excitement for her potential revelations. As she completed her response and hit send, the weight of the inquiry lifted for just a moment. Yet another message blinked, a photo of a family gathering from years ago, faces obscured but familiar features bundled in the unpredictability of fate. Emily's revelation stripped away layers of the past, exposing raw questions that begged for clarity. Who were these people? How did she fit into this picture? Suddenly, the notion that she had spent years running in circles came crashing down. Emily, Jake's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts, a serious light settling in his gaze. The time had come to face what's lurking in your family's shadows. Don't shy away from it now. Her pulse thrummed in response. The possibility of confronting hidden identities sent an electrifying jolt through her. This was no longer just a trip, it was the cusp of self-discovery, a quest full of uncertainty and promise. Yes, she finally declared, anticipation tightening its grip around her heart, I'll face whatever this leads to. And as they soared higher into the endless expanse above, Emily realized she was not just a passenger on this flight. She was the pilot of her destiny, ready to unearth her legacy even if it shattered her idea of who she thought she was. But with the past beckoning her closer, she pondered, would she find solace in the answers or catalyze a chaos she couldn't anticipate? As the clouds thickened below, Emily's pulse quickened, the journey was just beginning. The minutes dragged on while the jet cruised at cruising altitude, but time felt elastic to Emily. Each second expanded within her mind, filled with questions and fears. The wire of anticipation connected her to the unknown, pulsing with the rhythm of her own heartbeat. She felt both exhilarated and dreadfully anxious. Concealed within those messages were threads of her identity, weaving through the fabric of her family's past. What connected her to these people? Would they embrace her or reject her? She found herself staring out the window at the patchwork of farmland below, trying to draw parallels with her own fragmented existence. Are you okay? Jake's voice tugged her back to the moment. I'm fine. Just thinking, she replied, though her mind was still spinning. You're about to step into something monumental. It's totally normal to feel overwhelmed, he said, resuming his role as her steady supporter. Monumental, she repeated, tasting the word. The enormity of what lay ahead made her chest tighten. Do you think chasing after family connections is worth it? It's not just about them, Jake said thoughtfully. It's about you. Who you are and what you truly want moving forward. Sometimes, you have to confront the past to carve a meaningful path in the present. His words shimmered with clarity, slicing through the tangled emotions within her. A shift occurred in Emily. The fear began to morph into a form of fervent determination. If her lineage carried shadows, perhaps it was time to shine a light on them. What insight could she glean that might inform her future, or redefine her children's legacy? As the jet continued on its course, Emily decided to explore her own strengths as part of this journey. What if the discoveries unlocked parts of herself she hadn't dared to tap into? Could she transform not only her understanding of her family but also of her own dreams? She took a deep breath in, let it out slowly, a ritual of self-affirmation that she had often practiced in moments of uncertainty. Another ping pulled her focus back to the phone. It was a response from the mysterious contact. Emily could feel the anxiety build as she read through the words, carefully chronicling the invitation to meet and details about the location. The choice of a cafe nestled in a nearby part of town felt intimate yet charged. Was it a place for revelations or confrontations? Jake positioned his hand on hers, anchoring her once again. Don't rush it. Take your time to absorb everything. Remember, it's about you. Trust your instincts. A wave of gratitude surged through Emily for Jake's unyielding support, and she realized how vital this encounter could be, not only for her but for their relationship as well. The purpose of this quest extended beyond unraveling her tangled lineage. It was a catalyst for defining her identity, a challenge to embrace vulnerability as a precursor to strength. How do I prepare for this? She asked, the question spilling from her lips, laden with sincerity. You dig deep and come with an open mind. Show up as your authentic self, he encouraged. Be ready to confront not just your family's past, but also your expectations. Emily nodded, staring at the message on her screen, committing every syllable to memory. The tension cinched around her abdomen like a noose yet also unfurled a sense of urgency. She needed to respond. There was no going back. Soon she would face the specter of uncertainty and embrace the possibilities that lay within. What if I find far more than I bargained for? She mused aloud. Then you adjust. Change is part of growth, Jake replied, his voice steadying her. Feeling buoyed by determination, Emily started typing a response. Each character struck a balance between vulnerability and empowerment. She could embrace the unknown, yet she had the agency to define her own narrative. As she hit send, a thrill erupted within her, the energy of the unfolding story electrified her veins. Ready to navigate uncharted waters? Jake asked, a flicker of encouragement lighting his eyes. More than ever, Emily asserted. Her voice bold, yet as the jet began its descent, a sinking feeling washed over her, the realization that not only had she reached a precipice in her professional life, but now her personal identity was at stake as well. The encounter would not only unearth her family's past, it threatened to challenge everything she believed about herself. What secrets awaited her? Would they fortify her resolve or leave her isolated in a legacy shrouded in uncertainty? The palpable tension filled the cabin, and Emily's heart raced. Inescapably, the next chapter of her life was calling. The gentle hum of the jet engines gave way to a restless silence as Emily's thoughts spiraled deeper into the abyss of her expectations. She felt both the weight of the past pressing on her shoulders and the exhilaration of the unknown unfolding ahead. The cafe where she would meet her family felt less like an appointment and more like a reckoning. As they disembarked, Emily's heart raced. Each step toward the airport exit felt deliberate yet infused with hesitation. What awaited her was more than just a revelation about her lineage, it was the potential to redefine her entire existence. She sensed the shift in her energy, a palpable tension that seemed to float in the air around her. Jake's presence was like an anchor, reassuring her as they approached the cafe. Just remember, whatever happens, this is your journey. It's not just about uncovering the past, it's about sculpting your future. She nodded, yet uncertainty lingered. What would she uncover about herself as the layers of her family's history were peeled back? Would she find pieces of her identity lost in the records of names and dates, or would she encounter more than she could handle, eliciting fears she thought long vanquished? The cafe stood like an oasis among the bustle of the airport, its warm light spilling onto the sidewalk as if inviting her in. Emily paused, breathing in the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the energy of lively conversations inside. There was a stark contrast between this ordinary space and her extraordinary endeavor. Jake squeezed her hand lightly, a silent encouragement to move forward. She entered, the bell above the door chiming an announcement of her arrival. As she scanned the room, her pulse quickened. A figure in the corner caught her attention, an older woman with silver hair and sharp features, a striking resemblance to the photographs Emily had studied from her mother's collection. The familiar knot of anxiety tightened in her stomach. Would the woman greet her with warmth, or would a wave of cold rejection wash over her? Emily hesitated, then approached the table, forcing her legs to carry her. It was a moment laden with potential, a pivotal point where a lift of the chin or placement of a hand could redefine everything. "Emily?" the woman inquired, her voice steady but betraying a hint of curiosity. "Yes, I'm Emily," she replied, grappling with the weight of the moment. "I'm glad to meet you." "Likewise," the woman said, her eyes sharp and penetrating. "Though I suspect both of us might have a lot to discuss." The air crackled with unspoken meanings and revelations waiting to emerge. Emily slid into the chair opposite the woman, locking eyes with her. Questions swirled like leaves caught in the wind, almost overwhelming. She felt caution rise, perhaps it was self-preservation urging her to prepare for the worst. "Why now, Emily?" The question cut through the ambient noise. "You've pursued your family for answers. What do you truly seek?" The question consumed Emily, hot and heavy, forcing her to confront the layers of her own purpose. Was it validation she sought, or understanding? Was it closure or something even deeper, a desire to belong? "I want to understand," she breathed, summoning the courage that had driven her this far. "Not just about our family but about myself and my future." The woman's expression softened slightly, but a delicate barrier remained. "Then let us start there," she said. "But be warned, you might uncover truths that will challenge everything you think you know, about your family, and even about yourself." Emily blinked, the implication sending a wave of uncertainty washing over her. As she braced herself, she felt an unexpected resolve bubble up within her. This was what she had signed up for. The discomfort, the uncertainty, it was all part of the growth she craved. As the woman began to share her story, Emily leaned forward, ready to navigate this treacherous terrain. The words spilled forth, and each revelation peeled back a layer of her understanding. Yet the feeling remained that shadows lingered in the corners of this conversation. What truths were still hidden? What chaos might unearth within her vision of her lineage? Just as the woman was beginning to divulge a crucial detail, a sudden crash, a cup shattering against the floor, distracted them. All heads turned toward the commotion, and in that moment, Emily felt a jolt of unease ripple through the room. What unknowns had just entered this fragile space? And would they derail her quest or forge a new path entirely? Emily's heart pounded in her chest, the shattered cup echoing like a gunshot in the confines of her mind. Shimmers of anxiety danced through her, and she instinctively glanced around the cafe, searching for the source of the distraction. A scatter of startled faces surrounded them, eyes flickering back to the woman before her, whose gaze remained fixed on Emily, unwavering and penetrating. "Figures," the woman said with a hint of sarcasm, her tone almost dismissive as she waved off the disturbance. The casualness of her demeanor starkly contrasted Emily's fraying nerves. "These things happen in busy places," she added, yet the words felt loaded. "Let us see if we can redirect this back to our conversation." Emily blinked, adjusting her posture slightly. "Right. About the truths, yes, truths." The woman leaned forward, her intensity shifting into focus. But first, tell me more about you. Why did you decide to unearth your family history? The question, so straightforward, cut through the anxiety like a knife. Emily hesitated, reflecting on the confrontation with herself that had propelled her here. Because I've always felt disconnected. Like a shadow of someone. I guess, I thought if I could understand where I come from, it would help me figure out who I am. What I'm meant to be. Ah, the universal quest for identity. The woman nodded slowly, absorbing Emily's words. But have you considered that sometimes, the past isn't as comforting as we hope? Discovery can lead to liberation but also hardship. Emily caught the flicker of something in the woman's voice, a hint of her own journey mirrored back at her. It provoked an unsettling urgency. What if the path forward stumbled into darkness? Yet the ambiguity intrigued her. The power that lay in total acceptance of her lineage, of her past, seemed too significant to ignore. Tell me more about the hardships, Emily urged, sensing that genuine exploration demanded confrontation, not evasion. What should I be prepared to face? The woman seemed to wrestle with her own memories, the shadows of her past playing across her sharp features. You might uncover family dynamics that challenge your image of what family should look like. Secrets could emerge, alliances and betrayals intertwined in your lineage. Stories can bind you or shackle you, and sometimes often they do both. Emily felt a tumult of conflicting emotions. It resonated with her, echoing deeper fears of rejection, of not living up to some idealized version of family she had constructed around herself. Yet, the thought of facing those fears head-on sparked a flame of determination. She could condense her uncertainty into strength. Tell me, then, Emily pressed, the urgency rising like the steam from her untouched coffee cup. How do I respond when the truths are difficult? How do I choose what pieces of this history I keep and what I leave behind? The woman's expression softened slightly, as if seeing the layers of determination boiling beneath Emily's surface. That's the challenge we all face. It involves a balance of love and acceptance with others and with yourself. Embrace the messy parts, they shape you as much as the celebrated ones. And just like that, a wave of enlightenment washed over Emily. It became apparent that this path would not simply reveal her family's history but also amplify her need to confront her own beliefs and fears of belonging. There was an artistry in sculpting her response to family complications that demanded resilience and compassion. Without warning, another crash from the entrance drew Emily's attention. The door swung open, and figures rushed inside, silhouettes of disarray that soon filled the cafe. The atmosphere shifted, tension thickening around them like fog. Emily felt an uninvited shiver run along her spine. As the newcomers stormed past, the spark of curiosity ignited again within her. Who were they, and what role would they play in this already intricate tapestry of her family's story? The stirring sense of mystery seemed poised to engulf her in yet another unexpected layer of complexity. Would this derail the afternoon of revelations, or would it unexpectedly unveil yet more truths? Emily's mind raced as she tried to focus, feeling the pull of some chaotic force entering her story. What were the threads woven into this unfolding drama, and how would they shape her journey? Emily's thoughts spiraled as the newcomers filled the cafe with their chaotic energy. The clamor of voices overlaid with the chime of a bell above the door created an unsettling backdrop. She tried to zone in on the conversation with the woman across from her, yet the disarray around her became increasingly distracting. She felt a sudden, instinctive urge to detach from the atmosphere, to pull back into her mind a safe haven for introspection. What if these new arrivals had stories untold, lives intertwined with her own lineage? It was as though the universe had drawn a line between her internal quest for understanding and this external surge of energy, serving as a reminder of the complexities that lay ahead. Are you all right? The woman's voice broke through her reverie, injecting a fresh wave of urgency into the moment. Emily met her gaze. It was knowing, perhaps even sympathetic. The woman understood the struggle of internal chaos, something Emily was desperate to navigate. Just processing. Emily's voice was a whisper, reflecting her growing tension. I feel like I'm on the edge of a revelation, but the outside world keeps pulling me away. Then seize it, the woman encouraged, leaning in even closer. There was a challenge in her voice, a call to action. Don't let distractions dictate your focus. What is it all crying out for you to realize? Emily's breath hitched. The question lighted something ignited within her, a flame fanned to life by an external somber reminder. I need to embrace all parts of my truth. The light for clarity and the shadows for reality. Just as the weight of her self-liberation settled, a figure from the group swiveled toward her. A man, tall and striking, with an aura that commanded the room. He glanced in her direction, locking eyes with her momentarily before returning to his companions, drifting out of focus. Sometimes, the woman interjected, sensing Emily's distraction, our pasts collide in unforeseen ways. You're right where you need to be. That simple affirmation grounded Emily, sparked a determination she hadn't fully recognized before. If she was to uncover untold histories and mysteries, these moments had to be seized, not shied away from. Let us say I accept that challenge, Emily countered, an unexpected confidence rising within her. What steps do I even take? How do I engage with those unknown parts, and do so without paralyzing fear? The woman smiled, a mixture of pride and understanding lighting her features. Start by reclaiming your narrative. Research your family history not just as an inquiry, but as a reclamation of self. Transform your fear into questions. What are you curious about? Where does your heritage lie? Emily nodded slowly, each word weaving into her consciousness like threads fitting into a tapestry. It was not merely about digging into family records but engaging emotionally with the complexity of her origin. Perhaps this chaos in the cafe was a reflection of life itself, messy, unpredictable, yet ripe with opportunities for growth. Just as she found clarity, the darkened door swung again. In came an elderly woman, frail yet emanating a strength that seemed to wrap around her like a protective shield. Emily watched as momentary silence followed the woman's entrance, all the chaos paused, respect lingering in the air. Could this woman be a piece of the puzzle, a key to secrets waiting to be uncovered? Emily's heartbeat quickened anew, the intertwining threads of her journey calling out to her. As the elderly woman made her way to the counter, Emily felt an inexplicable pull. This chance encounter could shift everything. Gripping the edge of her seat, she recognized her next step would require courage, a leap toward unearthing layers of her own story. How would she muster the strength to approach this stranger, letting the world beyond the chaos guide her purpose? The moment was near. The drama of her own life beckoned, waiting to reveal its next chapter. Emily inhaled deeply, feeling the air thicken with anticipation. Every fiber of her being urged her forward, yet she remained anchored in her seat, momentarily paralyzed by uncertainty. The elderly woman stood at the counter, exchanging pleasantries with the barista, radiating a calm warmth that somehow pierced through the chaos of the cafe. This was it. This was the opportunity she'd been inadvertently preparing for, the chance to bridge her past with her present. What was she afraid of? The fear of rejection? The possibility of an unexpected, heart-wrenching truth? Fragments of her childhood echoed around her, moments spent with her grandmother, who often recounted tales imbued with magic and mystery. Was this woman a flicker of that faded history? Her resolve solidified at the thought of reclaiming her narrative. With brisk determination, Emily rose from her seat, pushing through the noise of vibrant conversations and the steaming hiss of the espresso machine. Each step towards the woman felt like a descent into uncharted territory, instinctively exhilarating yet daunting. "Excuse me," she managed to say, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her chest. The elderly woman turned, her deep-set eyes glistening with curiosity, as though she had been expecting this very encounter. "Yes, dear?" The woman replied, her voice imbued with a rich texture that suggested a lifetime of stories. Emily hesitated, needing to gather her thoughts. "My name is Emily. I couldn't help but notice you came in just as I was experiencing a moment of reflection." The woman nodded, her expression softening. "I know that feeling well. Sometimes, the universe conspires to remind us of things we need to confront. The word struck home, resonating within Emily like a bell tolled in the silence of her mind. I've been trying to dig into my family history, to understand where I come from. I hoped, maybe you could help. The elderly woman glanced around the cafe and then returned her gaze to Emily, assessing her with a careful understanding. Family history can be a tapestry woven with shadows and light. What is it you wish to find? Emily sensed the weight of the question, a door opening to an unknown realm. The layers of her existence unfolded in her mind. I want to find part of me that feels lost, to piece together what my grandmother told me before she passed away. The woman leaned closer, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Many have forgotten the power of asking the right questions. The quest to know oneself can lead to astonishing truths, but are you prepared for what you may uncover? In that moment, a bold challenge sparked within Emily, igniting her passion. I am. I need to know what parts of my family history have shaped the person I am today. Very well, the woman replied. Meet me here tomorrow. I have something to share that may just guide you further on your journey. A thrill coursed through Emily as she processed the invitation and the weight it carried. But just as quickly, doubt seeped through her conviction. What if the secrets threatened to unravel her? What if the truths revealed were too raw to bear? The elderly woman seemed to sense her hesitation. Truth does not merely exist in the beautiful story. Sometimes, it's hard and jagged. But it can lead you to the understanding you seek. With a nod filled with determination, Emily committed herself to this path. She would not shy away from the complexities of her identity. She would confront them head-on, capturing the lost threads of her history. Tomorrow then, Emily breathed, a mixture of excitement and anxiety swirling within her. As she turned to leave, an inexplicable weight settled upon her. She was stepping into a deeper realm of understanding, one that required her to stand firm against uncertainty, yet, the shadow of doubt lingered in the back of her mind. What revelations awaited her? Emily couldn't shake the feeling that uncovering her past could change everything, for better or worse, and with that thought echoing through her, she stepped out of the cafe, her heart echoing with the challenge of the unknown. Would tomorrow bring revelation or regret? The fragile boundary between her past and present felt ready to shatter, leaving her poised on the edge of destiny. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, painting the Texas sky in hues of orange and pink, Emily felt a profound sense of transition wash over her. The moments spent in the cafe had blended threads of her past with the present, igniting a fire within her, a determination to reshape her identity. She had glimpsed the potential for a future steeped in both history and ambition. Each interaction had peeled back a layer, the weight of her family's legacy pressing on her shoulders, but this time, it felt more like a calling than a burden. The night before her meeting with the elderly woman was restless, filled with a blend of excitement and anxiety. Thoughts raced like a runaway train, but wisdom overshadowing her fears emerged clearly. Emily was ready for the truths that lay ahead. Whatever shadows awaited her, she resolved to confront them. The ghosts of her past would not dictate her path, rather, they would feed the aspirations that lay dormant for too long. The next day, Emily arrived at the cafe early, barely able to contain her excitement. She could feel anticipation coiling in her stomach as she entered, each step a testament to her commitment to discovery. The elderly woman was already there, an enigmatic smile gracing her lips as she gestured for Emily to take a seat. Today is significant, she began, her voice steady. You stand at the juncture of your past and future. Are you ready to embrace both? I am, Emily affirmed, her heart pounding in agreement. With each revelation shared, Emily felt a connection form with her roots that she had previously deemed unfathomable. The stories unfolded as the woman delved into Emily's family history. She wove tales of triumph and despair, achievements and losses. Each tale drew parallels to Emily's current life and struggles, illuminating patterns she had yet to see. As the conversation ebbed and flowed, Emily discovered relatives who had overcome challenges similar to her own. She learned of engineers, teachers, and healers, each one a pioneer in their right, and within their own narratives lay elements that sparked her ambition. The significance of this knowledge struck her deeply. No longer did she view her career as a mere occupation but as a continuation of her family's legacy. "Now it's your turn," the elderly woman said, her gaze firm yet inviting. "What do you wish to achieve moving forward?" Emily felt the fire in her belly reignite, shimmering with clarity of purpose. "I want to pursue nursing not only with skill but embody the leadership my family exemplified. I want to create a space where compassion meets innovation in healthcare." As the words resonated through her, she acknowledged her evolution. Once rootless and mired in insecurities, Emily emerged with clarity and dedication. The real moment of transformation had crystallized. She no longer feared the disparities between herself and Jake. Instead, their histories were woven together, intertwined with lessons learned from failures and actions taken that shaped identities. Upon leaving the cafe, her heart soared with renewed confidence. She walked through the bustling streets with a buoyancy that felt foreign yet exhilarating. Each stride resonated with purpose, an embodiment of the unity she felt with her lineage. She embraced her own narrative while silently vowing to project this newfound strength in her life and career. Days turned into weeks, and Emily began pursuing advanced training within her profession, consistently engaging in leadership workshops designed for future leaders like her. She had embraced her narrative and allowed her past, history intertwined with ambition, to reshape her future. One afternoon, as she reviewed her progress, her phone buzzed with a surprising message. Jake. He inquired if he could join her at her new nursing initiative's presentation. The shared history between them felt rich, and now, as equals, they could be allies in their pursuits. "Absolutely," Emily responded, eager for the support she once hesitated to accept. That night, after an exhilarating presentation, and with Jake's encouraging words echoing in her mind, Emily recognized her efforts rewarded with not only newfound opportunities but a solidified belief in her strength. The panic of past judgments faded into appreciation for the growth she had achieved. As she settled into bed that night, Emily reflected on the journey of self-discovery intertwining with painful yet necessary revelations, and recognized that she had fully claimed her narrative. She smiled softly to herself. Her legacy wasn't just about the past but shaped the future she would cultivate with her children. Their inherent strength would mirror her own. This was indeed the moment she had conquered the ghosts of doubt, emerged as a figure of determination, compassion, and leadership. Emily's heart swelled with recognition. She had achieved clarity, forged ahead, and proved that embracing her entire identity, compassionate and complex, was more than just a goal, it was her destiny. And as she drifted into peaceful slumber, she knew, this was merely the beginning. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to subscribe now because this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.